Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in again to Stock Market Plans, Stock Market Watch. Man, we got an exciting one for you today. Super, super, super good news. What could be potentially a treatment for this virus, COVID-19. I think we all have been waiting for some news on the biomedical front to combat this thing. And so far, yes, we've gotten news from Abbott Labs. Everybody knows about Abbott Labs now, and the testing kits now that they have. And testing is so important for so many reasons. Testing kits that they can have a result basically in 15 minutes. A big step forward. But I'm going to show you here in just a little bit another drug company that has made pretty rapid progress on the actual treatment side. I don't know where it goes, but it's certainly promising. What I think personally is some really good news, and I'm going to show you why here in a moment. But let's go ahead and dive into the market first. There is a SPY again, S&P 500. We've talked about this market just basically trading sideways now, right? I mean, here we go, still hitting its head up against this resistance level. The range is getting tighter. Talked about this now for better part of 2 weeks, that this was going to potentially happen, especially because the market has been trading under the 50-day and the 200-day moving average, and this heavy resistance level in prices here that are just, it just keeps hitting its head here in the last 3 sessions. But, that's basically it for the market. I'm still holding on to 25% stocks. Everything else is in cash. Exactly for this reason. Once it gets over this, that might change, or if it trades sideways for a little bit, and the volume cooperates, right? Volume down here. I like the volume calming down. I spoke about that again many days ago, and it's exactly what's happening. So very promising action from the markets. But what's really amazing today is this company that I want to talk to you about. The company is Gilead Sciences. They've been around for quite some time, and they have been in the news on and off for the last 2 weeks. They've been doing testing on COVID-19, severe COVID-19 patients, and they have a treatment now that shows promise. Is still in clinical trials. I believe it's phase 3. Don't quote me on that. Definitely further along than most. So the market closed today, right? And the market traded in a real tight range, pretty much traded sideways all day. And around, well, let's go ahead and look at it. Let me pull it up here. Here's Gilead Sciences, and look at all the volume. Definitely activity. This thing has been very active, to say the least. You can tell by the volume here, this yellow line being average volume, and you can just tell in the last, better part of a month, this thing has been up and down. The durations are just crazy, right? Look at all this wedging. It's been definitely, when you start seeing stuff like this, it's certainly promising. Something's going to happen one way or the other. But anyways, let's go ahead and move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and move into an intraday chart real quick. So here is the last 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is today. Basically, the stock's been going pretty much sideways to up, right? Nothing really going on. Although there's some high volume spikes here at the end of day. Some heavy accumulation here on Tuesday, right here. Okay, you like to see this when stock end up closing higher into the close, and then it gapped down the next day. That was this was Wednesday right here, and it just traded sideways, pretty much sideways to down, right? And this is pre-market on Thursday, and then the stock, this is the action today, and basically opened up and started motoring higher, never looked back, right? Then we get this. Hello, the stock just jumped in the aftermarket. In the extended hour session, this stock just took off like a rocket right out of the gate here at a quarter after 4 o'clock, and then it just took off like a rocket. The price right now is $89.11, and we're sitting here now at from 76 to 89. Okay, and this is from 4:15 until 7:45. So something's going on here. Something meaningful is coming on. When you look at the stock, right, you're like, wow, that's cool, right? Individual stock taking off like this in the biomedical space. You get excited. The news started to come in on this thing again right after the market closed. The Dow Jones news wires came in, and I'm looking at this right now, and the news just started to just drive into the stock. Gilead Science rallies 10% on report of promising coronavirus medical study. Then shortly thereafter, 3 minutes later, Gilead Science shares spiking 9% after hours. Stat News reports COVID-19 patients treated with companies. The name of the treatment is called I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right. Remdesivir? Remdesivir is the name of the treatment, seeing rapid recoveries in fever and respiratory symptoms. Shortly thereafter, another news comes in. All right, and it just keeps flying in. Another news comes in. This again from the Dow Jones Newswires. Gilead Sciences shares rising after report of remdesivir effectiveness. Then again, another news. It just came flooding in like crazy. In like an hour, there was like 10 different news stories on this. And again, it just goes on and on about this thing. This thing jumped over 15%. Again, no small cheese. I mean, this is definitely market moving. Look at the volume come in on this thing. Look at the volume throughout the day, right? And then boom, here we go. And then the price just shooting up, okay? That's not Uncle Bobby and Aunt Patty buying stock, folks, okay? That's the big players here getting involved. Now, here's when I really got excited. Here's Gilead Sciences, right? Hello, here's your market. Here's your SPY, right? Trading sideways, and all of a sudden, boom. The futures right now are trading up huge going into tomorrow's open. This is the futures right here, and look at the jump, exactly like the stock. So something's going on with this company. So the latest news story that I see is Gilead Sciences says expect data from phase 3 study in patients with severe COVID-19 infection to be available at the end of April. Man, certainly promising. We look at a stock individually prior to this chart. It jumps up on that news, and then here's the market doing the same thing. So the overall market is reacting to this news handsomely. I mean, look at this. It's certainly promising. I also saw a story that dove into the study a little bit more. I'm trying to find it here. This one here is from Barron's of 125 patients recruited by the University of Chicago for phase 3 trials taking Gilead's drug remdesivir with 113 cases considered severe. Most have been discharged, according to the report from Stat News. It reviewed of University of Chicago's medicine infectious disease expert Kathleen Mullane discussing trial results with colleagues. Mullane reportedly said 2 people had died, while most had been discharged. She did warn against drawing strong conclusions, according to Stat News, given the severe cases did not have a placebo group to compare with. Still, she said her patients have done, quote-unquote, very well. She also said, quote, most of our patients are severe and most of them are leaving at 6 days. So that tells us duration of therapy doesn't have to be 10 days, end quote. She said on the recording, according to Stat News, we have, and then quote again, we have very few that went out to 10 days, maybe 3, end quote. Gilead did not immediately return a request for comment. A representative told Stat News, quote, what we can say at this stage is that we look forward to data from ongoing studies becoming available, end quote. Gilead shares have gained 17% in 2020 as investors bet on remdesivir's potential as COVID-19 treatment. I mean, this is all very promising. I'm pretty sure we're going to be hearing the president talk about this in a very, very near future. Anyways, I just saw that, and I wanted to make you aware of it. I'm definitely going to be all over this one and looking at it for more reasons than one. I mean, I'm not a drug expert, but I know trials, and when you hear stuff like this, it's not necessarily bad news. It's good news, and it really doesn't matter what I think. There you have it right there. Hello. That's the market. That's not the stock. Here's the stock. I mean, it's the same thing, and the market's reacting. I don't know if the market's reacting to this, but I mean, it's just a little odd to me that the stock jumps, and here's the market jumping too at the very same time. So very, very promising. I would take this as good news for all of humanity. I mean, if this is something that's going to turn into something else, it'll just be awesome. Again, on the treatment front, everything that we've been hearing about, because the necessity has been testing, and now this company, Gilead Sciences, comes out with news on treatment. It's just awesome. The stock jumps up. Remember what I always tell you: pay attention to price. Price knows first. Well, here you go. Boom, right? And again, this coupled with the move on the SPY on the S&P futures, if this thing stays like this, look for the government market to gap up. I mean, we look at the S&P, there it is. Hello, right? So looking at the SPY, of course, there it is. Mirrors the S&P 500. This thing's trading at 288, 289 roughly. 289 is right in the mix of this resistance, right? Trying to break through. So it's going to gap up in this area, okay? I always talk to you about this blue line here, right? Being the 50-day moving average. And I spoke to you about this 2 days, yesterday or the day before. If this thing gets above this thing, I mean, it can find a new footing, especially starts to dwell in this area right here. Could definitely be very, very good for the markets. We just have to wait and see. But anytime you have price crushing through resistance, crushing through the roof, it's been hitting its head. And now here comes Gilead Sciences with this news. Again, I don't know the correlation, but it seems a little odd to me. It seems a little bit coincidental to me that this thing is now moving in unison with Gilead Sciences, right? The market. So here we go, right? We're going to open up somewhere in here, right in this resistance area. Tomorrow is going to be a very exciting day. Really looking forward to it. Again, thanks for tuning in and checking it out. Don't forget to click subscribe on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate it if you guys share this content. I think it's something that you're not seeing anywhere else. This whole study of markets and news and, looking at it a different way. Hopefully you're learning something. If you've never been involved in this, I'm teaching you something here. If you feel like you've learned something, man, put a comment in the YouTube channel. Put something in there or on the Facebook page, Stock Market Plan, right? 3 words. Really appreciate it if you follow that. Also comment. Really, really appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one, okay? Really looking forward to this thing tomorrow. All right, guys. See you then.